it goes a long way toward fulfillment and seeing yourself as a part of a bigger picture. And I'm not just holed up in my office for 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
I'm serving people while I'm doing this. If you can get there, at least I was personally shocked at how much you can take a job like Starbucks and suddenly realize like I'm a valuable part to my community.
Yeah.
Here. It's pretty crazy.
Welcome to the Hope in Real Life podcast with Jason Gore. Our team is passionate and committed to bringing you more hope in the everyday, real areas of your life. If this conversation and content is valuable for you, please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and even share. You never know how valuable it could be to share a little bit of hope with someone else. Let's get the conversation started. And here we are picking it back up in the second half of our episode with Ben Foote talking about how to approach work in our life. And we said in the first episode, we recognize that we spend around 90,000 hours in work in our lives. And so, man, we should probably spend some time taking a look at how it applies to our lives. Let's tune back in and get it rolling. I was talking with John Deloney was on an episode that we, Dr. John Deloney, if you don't know, you should check him out. Great guy, speaks a lot into the mental health world, but in his most recent book, he talks about how there's certain things that we have to choose in our life to avoid anxiety, and there's certain decisions that we have. But one of them is this idea of mindfulness, and it's and I might even be misapplying, so sorry, John. But the idea is like we actually have to choose how we view certain things, and then we operate out of those decisions. Mm-hmm. And so if our paradigm is I must work for money, then if we're not making that money, then we're not living it up. So like to your point, we don't have the freedom that we need. And someone could say, well, I don't want work to be for money, but right now I have these bills and I have this house and I have this car and I have this debt. And I know in the state of America right now, there's probably some people that, I mean, it's expensive right now, but we don't, maybe we don't have to have the house that we have. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't have to have the car that we have. Maybe we don't, because what happens is all of that stuff comes in and clouds our ability to actually go to the root of what you're saying. No, let's start with the vision, maybe not even for work, but the vision for my life. Mm-hmm. And then let's move that into our vision for work. And then, we can figure out, okay, well, what do we have the means for? But ultimately, at the end of the day, this over here, this paradigm and how we live through this is more important than how do we just play catch up for the rest of our life?
Right.
Let's jump on this. You travel quite a bit with your new career. How does that work out for you and Allie? You got kids at home.
Well, so
should we phone her in?
I'm gonna. Let's see what she said. Right now, she would say it's terrible. Yeah. We've got like 2 sick kids and all that. Overall, I'm like a little spoiled because some people travel and they travel like for months at a time. Right. I don't have that. Most of my trips, I'm gone Saturday and Sunday. North Carolina, like here at Hope, those are longer. It's 4-day trips. For us, though, it's balanced well because I'm not on a staff anymore. I work from home. I create my own schedule. So it's like on the one hand, I travel, which I never used to really do. But on the other hand, like I pick my kids up from school like basically every single day, and I get my work done. So I pick them up and then I'm like, what do you guys want to do together now? Yeah. So, it balanced out for us. I mean, the travel is something I'm still getting used to and Allie and the kids are still getting used to it. But for the most part, it's like almost been counterbalanced. Right. I get tons of more time. That's something a lot of people don't realize, about ministry work. If they've never done it, it's like, dude, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, if you ever decided that you didn't want to travel as much, I'm sure you could find a church.
I wonder where.
Somewhere that would be more than happy to kind of set you guys up.
Who would have me.
Yeah, I'm just hypothetically speaking. If you're listening, feel free to drop a comment and tag where you think Ben should go and work. So we'd love to see that. Hey, look, what about this? We got a lot of people who's like, okay, work, yeah, purpose, yeah, it's about purpose. I don't like my job right now. Mm-hmm. What would you say?
Dude, okay, so...
Or I don't like it, or I would love to change my job, or I want a different role within my job. Mm-hmm.
I still think the first filter for figuring that out is purpose, is the problem purpose.
Yep.
If it's not, okay, so if it is, maybe that's all you needed. You just needed to clear your head and go like, no, what I'm doing is important, okay? If you get through that and you go like, yeah, no, this job doesn't line up with the purpose of my life at all.
Yeah.
Or it does, and I'm still miserable. That's where I think the math is so helpful, dude. It's 22% of your waking life, man.
Yeah.
It's 90,000 hours of your life.
Yeah.
Again, your family's 42,000. If things were like terribly broken with your family, you would, I think most people would do anything possible to fix it.
Yeah.
That's your family. Well, your job is you spend twice as much time at your job.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, though, we'll sit in it, even though it's broken,
Right.
even though it's unfulfilling. And we'll just go like, I guess these are the cards that I got dealt. So I just got to tough it out for the rest of my life. Again, start with purpose. But if you get past that, like maybe it's time to just make a risky move and mix things up. Because this is the majority of your life is spent doing this.
So how about this? How about, okay, I do need to make a move. I'm not going to be here forever. Or, okay, yeah, let's just live with that. I'm not going to be here forever. But right now, I can't pull the trigger for whatever reason. So now I'm stuck. And maybe I don't like my boss, or I don't like my organization, or I don't like my job. Ben, that could take some people to a dark place, right? Mm-hmm. That could take people to, hey, I'm going to change things myself, whether people around here want to or not, which maybe that's healthy, could also be done in a terribly unhealthy way. I'm just going to start letting people know how dissatisfied I am with, maybe not with my words, but with my attitudes and with my actions. I'm just going to start stealing people's staplers off their desk. I mean, lots of different things you can do. Yeah.
Is that a tactic? Or?
I don't know. Haley here on our team continues to steal my staplers. So I don't know what she'd know.
A jab. Okay.
I'm kidding. What would you say? How do you speak? What would you say to that person? How should I handle myself? I'm not asking about myself, but if I were, how should I handle myself before I make a change in the role that I'm in that I'm not super happy with?
Well, I was unhappy for a year and a half. So like I think I can a little bit speak from experience. It's like we're still responsible to show up. You're still responsible to show up well. I mean, this is where I guess if you don't follow Jesus and you have, I don't know, do whatever you want, I guess. Like chop people out from under the knees, if you have to get ahead, I guess. But even if you're unhappy and you can't pull a trigger yet, like you're still responsible to show up well, to work hard, to be a team player. Like your dissatisfaction doesn't give you the right to work poorly.
Yeah.
So, no one wants to hear that. But if you're completely dissatisfied and you can't pull a trigger, you can't quit your job, you can't, switch within the organization, whatever it is you want to do, well, it doesn't give you the right to start talking trash about your job, to airing your dissatisfaction at the at the lunch table or whatever. Like that's just not an option for you.
Yeah, I think you hear different stories, you experience different things, and I think what I would love for our listeners to get out of this, who might be in a dark place or in a, let's say, a hopeless place as it relates to work, is no matter what you think or feel. Especially no matter what you feel, you're not going to make things better for yourself and certainly not for anyone else by not handling yourself well. And I know you get in those moments and it seems like, well, to heck with it anyway, because I'm not going to be here, or I'm going to give these people what they deserve, or I'm going to badmouth, or I'm going to, toxicity doesn't bring hope to anybody. It might bring a dopamine rush. It might feel good in the moment, but at the end of the day, you're not making things better for other people or for yourself. And in fact, you're actually teaching yourself some pretty negative behaviors that if you reinforce those enough times, you might turn around and go get your dream job. And then
blow it, dude.
And blow it because you've learned to carry yourself like a bad word that I won't say, Hope in Real Life family, I want to pause for a moment and let you know about an opportunity that I believe can help you find a bit more hope in everyday life. Listen, I know a lot of our viewers probably aren't a part of a church, or maybe you gave up on the church a long time ago. And believe me, possibly for good reason. I understand. But I don't want you to miss out on the hope that you can actually experience by journeying alongside of a group of people that really are seeking God's best for their lives. If you are the least bit curious, we try to make this as simple for you as we possibly can. Wherever it is that you digest digital content, podcasts, you can go to the podcast store. You can check it out on YouTube and just search Hope Community Church. You'll be able to find our messages there and check those out. Or if you actually want to tune in during a service time, you can go to gethope.tv at 4:15 or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or you can tune in at 9:30 or 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that's at gethope.tv. We hope that you'll take a chance with us and experience what it is God has for you in your life. You're going to find practical messages that will help you find hope in the everyday moments of your life. Hope you'll check it out.
You know your people the most.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this issue of work, what do you think is the number one thing that like people need to hear right now?
Yeah, I think number one, you hit the first one out of the gate. Like work is, we were created to work. And so, and in today's world, I think, whether it's coming out of COVID or what, I think there's two different types of people right now in the world. And I think what's weird is organizationally, so many of them are at the same place. And I don't know how they got here. But in my observation, folks either are like picking up a ton of slack from other people and they care so deeply about what they're doing, they're overworked to the point of like, they don't need a nap. Like they need to refuel. Mm-hmm. And so I see that a lot. And to those people, I would say, hey, you were created to work, but you also were created to rest. Like God took a Sabbath on, he took a rest on the seventh day. That's a part of it. We should rest so that we can work just as much or maybe more than we should work so that we can rest. So rest is a part of it. So that's to one individual. But on the other hand, if I'm just being honest, I think there's a lot of people right now that somehow just don't feel the need to carry their own weight as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. And so to those folks, I would say, I know you're tired. I know the world is more disorienting than we realize right now. Mm-hmm. From social media to we don't interact with people enough. And I think people actually can give us fuel to find our purpose, and we don't interact with people the same way. And so I would say, man, you can sit around and complain about your job not being perfect, about not necessarily having the energy that you want to have to do your job. And you can do that, but it's not going to help. You're actually, okay, so what? Now you're not going to live into what you were created for in the image of God, to be productive. And so you're actually going to spin out into more helplessness and hopelessness and potentially even bring others people with you. And so I think there's a whole nother category over here that's like, hey, you need to work. You actually need to put in the energy. You need to put in the gas to be able to get it. Now, if your boss is a jerk and the organization's terrible, now, look, make a change, right? We talked about that. Find your purpose. What's your vision statement? Go get it. But it's not just because you need to work hard. It's because of what you said initially, where we started. You were created to be productive. Mm-hmm. You were created to be creative. You were created to add value, to subdue, to oversee. And so I think that's one thing. Like, figure out which category you're in, because I don't know that we've ever seen such a dichotomy of that. Now, granted, I didn't live in the 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. I've heard stories. But I mean, it just seems like there was a greater understanding back then of like, hey, you show up, you go to work, you punch your time card, and maybe people didn't make as much money and maybe things weren't as creative, but like, man, it seemed like families were stronger. It seemed like communities were stronger. And so I would think that's a large part of it. The other thing I would say is, if, I say regularly, to our listeners that maybe aren't following Jesus, because I know we have some, but I would say, man, to our listeners that are following Jesus, that paradigm that you spoke to about realizing the secular and the sacred are not separate. Mm-mm. They're one and the same. And so where God has you, where you live, learn, work, play, you have a responsibility to actually be a light in those places. And that actually is an act of worship. And so please, please, please don't go through life thinking, I do my church stuff over here and maybe I serve in the kids ministry, which if you go to Hope, which is the church that actually puts this podcast together, and you don't serve in Kid City, we'd love to have you. But it's not like, that's not the spiritual side. And then the work is the spiritual side. Just the very act of being everything from being creative, whether you're the plumber or you're the guy who's cutting the grass or you're the painter or you're the business executive or you're the lawyer, just producing that for our society is worship, all the way through to the people that you rub shoulders with who might need to see Jesus in a very tangible way. And so I think, man, if we could get that out of this podcast and we could get a bunch of people actually living that out, man, I think that would take a bit more hope into the world.
Dude, how long are these?
Are we
done?
Yeah, we could be done, or we
Can I tell one super quick story?
Yeah, we don't even have to edit this out. Ben just asked how long we had because he didn't know. Or you can edit it out, either one. Yeah.
I'm like too ADD for podcasts, I feel like.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you just got to tell me like, okay, let's be done.
We're good.
So I worked at Starbucks for like almost a year, and it was out of school. I thought I was going to go into the publishing world. So I had done an internship at a magazine. Afterwards, they're like, hey, we want to hire you, but we got to wait a few months for this position to open up. So I'm like in this in-between time. Allie's a dental hygienist. She's like, her career's off and running, and I worked the morning shift at Starbucks. I would wake up and put that green apron on.
Yeah.
There's nothing more emasculating than putting an apron on to go to work. And just in a bad headspace, like just the headspace was like, I'm failing Allie, I'm failing myself. So bad headspace. And
your Starbucks barista is going to love seeing you the next time you roll up in
there. So then I'm at Starbucks. This corporate trainer comes in, and I don't remember her name. I don't remember what she trained us on. But then I just remember when she's leaving, she like kind of stops and like thinks, and then looks at us, and then goes, I want to tell you why you're important to your community. And we're like, okay. And she goes, it's because you don't serve coffee, you serve people. And then she gave us this vision that I'm going to paraphrase here. I don't remember exactly, but it was like this vision of like, you're serving coffee to the single mom who like just finished her first job. She's got an hour to herself before her second job. Like this is her only time in the day to herself. And you're serving coffee to the dude who's exhausted because he's working 80 hours a week to get his tech company off the ground and make his dream come true. Like you're serving the guy who's, just came back from his overnight shift as a firefighter and wants to drop his kids off to school. Like these are the people you're serving. Right. You're not serving coffee, you're serving people. And I worked there for like 4 more months, something like that. And that alone, at the time, I wouldn't have realized that was a vision statement, or that she was basically telling us your job is spiritual and it's ministry. I wouldn't have phrased it that way, but that's what happened. And it totally changed the game for 4 months. I loved working at Starbucks for that last 4 months. Yeah. Because I caught on to what she was saying. Yeah. So again, like just to harp on it one last time, if you can figure out how your job itself is serving the world and moving the creation project forward, if you can fill in the blank of my job serves people because fill in that blank, it goes a long way toward fulfillment and seeing yourself as a part of a bigger picture. And I'm not just holed up in my office for 9 hours a day. Yeah. I'm serving people while I'm doing this. If you can get there, at least I was personally shocked at how much you can take a job like Starbucks and suddenly realize like I'm a valuable part to my community here. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. I think we'll end on that one.
Boom.
Okay.
I've got like, do you have time for 4 more stories? Yeah. Okay.
We do. We're going to turn the microphones off and we'll save it for the next episode. No. Hope in Real Life family, I want to take a moment and let you know about a resource that we have for you for your own personal development, spiritual enrichment, and really a way for you to find a bit more hope in real life. We have a tool for you called the Hope in Real Life app. It offers things like parenting tips, financial resources, marriage insights. If you're looking for it, there's even Bible reading plans in there. And there's a community where you can even share prayer requests and know that someone is praying for you for whatever it is that you have going on in your life. It's available right now in the Apple App Store or in Google Play. You can search Hope in Real Life in both stores, or you can use the download link that is in the show notes. Remember, tomorrow can be better than today, and hope is possible even in real life. Hey, listen, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. Everything that we talked about, I mean, even the question that Ben just ended with, we'll make sure that's down in the show notes. We'll make sure some type of framework for recognizing and looking for, hey, what's the vision for my life, for my job? We'll make sure that we've got that there for you. Hey, look, if you've got someone, maybe it's a college student, maybe it's a brother, sister, somebody else that you know that you work with that might be dissatisfied with what's going on in the work-life balance or in the workspace, please share this content with them. You never know how valuable it could be to just offer somebody a little bit of hope. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Ben, thanks for being here with us again.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Hope in Real Life podcast. If this content was valuable for you, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. You never know how important it could be to bring a little hope into someone else's life. There's even a place here for you to comment. We would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. Until next time, let's keep sharing hope.